Hey guys, well, that time of the year again, and
It's about time. Sheesh, it's February. What took so long?
yeah, I know, disembodied voice that sounds like me for some reason. Bit late this year, sue me. What? Yeah? Letter for me? Alright. I don't know what this is about. Let's see. I'm being sued! Kilplix's top 10 video games of 2013. Now before we get to the top 10, I actually want to share the most disappointing games of the year for me. And those two games are BioShock Infinite. Oh my gosh, what do I even say about this game? I have zero good memories from playing this. I have zero good things to say about it other than the visuals and art style, which does not make a good game, by the way. The combat is plain awful. A 2-weapon limit, reskinned plasmids from the original game, and in my personal opinion, I found that the actual story is just way too deep for you. Way too, this is a smart game for smart people. No, it isn't. It's not. There are plenty of videos on the internet that explain way better than me why this game isn't as great as it's been hyped up to be and why it's simply an average game. I highly recommend YouTubing the video BioShock Infinite Critique to get the full rundown of just why this game doesn't work and why it's so overhyped. Amnesia, a machine for pigs. Holy frick, burn this crap with fire. I seriously blame myself for pre-ordering and buying this game. I was dumb and didn't do the research. If I had, I'd have found out that it wasn't even being made by the original creators of the first game to begin with, and that it was being done by the Chinese Room, a company who wants to hold your hand and guide you through anything they make with as little gameplay as possible. If you want to see exactly why I hate this game to the core, watch my Kilplix Rage Quits Amnesia, a Machine for Pigs video. It literally shows everything wrong with it, but I'll tell you the biggest reason. It isn't scary at all. An actual chase scene! Yay! And like last year, let's do an honorable mentions just before the top 10 list. And I only have one game on the list this year, and it is Grand Theft Auto 5. So of course everybody was hyped for this. I mean, it's a friggin' GTA game. And I'm actually one of the few people who've actually played GTA since the very first game on the PC. I've enjoyed every single version and love doing 100% completions on them. So yes, I was majorly hyped for it. However, this one disappointed me quite a bit in ways I can explain and some I just can't. For one, it might be a little odd, but I've never been a big fan of the stories in Grand Theft Auto games. For me, it's always about the sandbox, the whole open playground freedom of playing, and the many side activities that you can do in these games. And this one seemed to lack many of the ones I love the most, such as paramedic, firefighting, and my favorite one of all is the vigilante missions. And it doesn't have any of these. And I can't help but feel sometimes when playing this game that there's some no fun allowed rule to it. Cops dog you no matter what you do in this game, regardless if it's kicking a car or talking to pedestrians. It gets very discouraging, to say the least. The game itself is a technical marvel, though, especially on the aging 10-year-old consoles. The graphics and details are mind-blowing for the scale of the game. Of course, because of that, the frame rate takes a huge hit, and it always makes my eyes hurt. It's still a great game, though, superb even. Just not what I was expecting, and maybe I just set my hype meter way too high. Alright, now let's get to business. Kilplix's top 10 games of 2013. Number 10. Tomb Raider. Ah, Laura, won't you marry me? It seems like this reboot gets unnecessary hate for some weird reason. Personally, I highly enjoyed it. The freedom of the combat was simply fun, which is what matters most in a game. Endless upgrades for weapons and gadgets, great visuals, and dat bow, man. Dat bow. Number 9. The Last of Us. And here we have a game that gets nothing but praise. And while I don't put it up on the pedestal that most do, I still think it was a really good game. The graphics seriously shocked me. I wasn't aware that the PS3 could even pump out those type of visuals. At one point in the game, I literally just paused and said, "Holy frick, this looks amazing!" I'm too busy admiring the visuals here. The story is genuinely enjoyable and riveting. And though I used to complain about the controls being shaky and inaccurate, I understand that it's actually what they were going for. The shakiness and desperation of a man fighting to survive. And man, that ending. Number 8. Outlast. Thank goodness this game came out around the time when that POS Amnesia: A Machine for Pigs did. This game gave me my horror game fix quite nicely. Great graphics, good story, great mechanic with the camera, and it generally did freak me out. Often. The way they did the movement and the sound effects just really immersed you in it. This may sound weird, but it probably has some of the best FPS hands out there, with the way your character grabs corners as you sneak through halls. Great game. Even the crappy ending doesn't stop it from making it on my list. Number 7. Shadow Warrior. This game got a lot of praise from those who actually played it, but I just kind of ignored it and thought they were overpraising it because it kind of had a quiet release, and I thought they just wanted to get it more attention. When I finally decided to try it, I found that the praises were actually more than deserving. This game has some of the funnest FPS gameplay I've ever played. The best FPS sword gameplay I've ever played. It's old school and new school merged perfectly. Every time I played it, you'd hear me at least once in my live stream yell out, "Oh my lord, this combat is fun as piss! This is so freaking fun combat, good lord!" This game is so fun, and it's the reason why my top 10 video is late this year. I played this way later than I should have, but I'm making up for it by putting it on my list. Number 6. Rogue Legacy. Rogue Legacy made grinding enjoyable. It was a nice game to just start up while listening to a podcast or watching a movie and grind and level your characters up. I really enjoyed the challenge as well. Bosses were no pushovers, especially that final boss, holy frick. I liked how nearly every playthrough was different since each character had specific traits, and the dungeon randomly generates with each offspring. Lots of gear to craft and unlock, abilities and a skill tree that never ends. Rogue Legacy takes my number 6 spot. Number 5. Dragon's Dogma: Dark Arisen. I'm really glad I waited for this version. I'd always wanted to get the games, but some of the stuff I read about it really turned me off. But along came Dark Arisen and fixed most of those issues. And oh my goodness, this is an enjoyable game. Even the horrid frame rate doesn't stop from the enjoyment. So many classes to mix and mess with, the combat is just fun all around. You have the ability to cling on to any enemy like Shadow of the Colossus, and you'll need it with some of the enemies considering their size. The only downside is the story. I mean, it was pretty meh, but that doesn't stop it from making it this high on my list. Number 4. Sonic All-Star Racing Transformed. So this was on Steam for a free weekend earlier last year, and I figured, hey, why not try it out? And in that weekend, I had clocked probably a good 20 hours into it. It instantly became one of my favorite kart races ever. The controls are amazing, and the power-ups are fair and balanced. The game takes actual skills to win the races, and the tracks are well done. Except you, Burning Rangers. Ugh! Sonic All-Star Racing Transformed more than deserves this spot on my list. Number 3. Battlefield 4. I probably shouldn't be putting this so high on my list, considering the game was nearly unplayable the first few months it was freaking released. In fact, why am I? The game has horrid netcode, hit detection, and glitches up the butt. Every single night I'm playing it, I rage at least 5 times from being ripped off from one thing or another. Yet, I'm still playing it every night. Despite all the many, many problems this game has, I still enjoy the crap out of it. Large-scale battles, vehicles everywhere, bullets flying over your head, explosions and crashes shaking your screen. I mean, do I need to say any more? Number 2. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Ever since I was a kid, I always imagined what it would be like in a game to just be able to cut freely, whatever you wanted, however you wanted. I actually didn't even think it could be done as a kid. So the reason this game is going so high on my list is simply because of that amazing mechanic. Cut anything, however you want, wherever you want. This game blows me away. It's a childhood dream come true. Of course, the story is completely absurd and over the top since it's a Metal Gear game, but the gameplay is just too solid to knock it any lower than this. And my number 1 game of 2013 is... What? Underhell. Yet again, a mod takes my number 1 spot this year. Underhell was in development for quite some time from my understanding, and I can tell you it definitely shows. I don't think I'll ever get over how impressive modders can be with all the insane stuff they can do. The more I played Underhell, the more it became my favorite game of the year. It seamlessly switches genres from Twitch-based action FPS, action-adventure, detective, horror, and stealth. The set pieces, the script, the animations, level design, great gameplay, and even the amateur voice acting just blew me all away. And if you don't know, I usually hate puzzles in games, but this game had some of the most creative and well-done puzzles I have ever seen in a video game. And it's made by amateurs. Underhell more than deserves my number 1 spot. So there you have my top 10 video games of 2013. Thanks for watching, guys, and sorry for being so late.
See you in court, chump.
Who's saying that? Why do you sound like me?
I am you.
Oh, you're not.